bags were horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And to bring the end of our label week, which has been Shameless, I watched the film The Church. I think this was released 2017 maybe by Shameless, or 2018, something like that, on DVD and Blu-ray. I think around the same time or shortly after was Scorpion did a Blu-ray as well. Before that it was Blue Underground, had quite a good DVD of this movie out. So Michel Suave's The Church. This is an actor. Yeah, well, yeah, he is a director also. I wish he'd done more movies. He's got a very kind of good style. Visually, the storytelling, how it's all interwoven together. The Church is one of those films, one of those few films where the more I watch it, the more I like it. There's a lot going on with this, a lot of levels. The detail involved is very good. What I used to find the first one or two maybe times of seeing it, I felt a little bit boring maybe, is that I just wasn't paying attention to the film properly, because everything is kind of very well linked together. We start the movie off. Let's just kind of roughly go through the movie. You have these knights. I think it's around the 12th century. And these are, what are they called? Teutonic or Teutonic Knights or something like that? I can't remember. I like these religious knights, and they're going through the land, like hunting devil worshippers and stuff like that. And they've been brought to this village where there's these beautiful women. It's Italian horror of the 80s, so there's going to be beautiful women everywhere in this movie. So one of the women has the mark. So they get like massacred. This whole village is kind of, this huge pit is dug. All these dead bodies, partially alive bodies, everyone is just thrown into this huge pit. And then it's kind of like they build a church on top of it. Kind of like thinking of like Indian burial ground kind of things, which, you know, it's a bad thing to do. So yeah, they have this kind of, this is built, this church. And the architects that built the church, they don't want, I think what it was is that they don't want this secret let out, that there's basically a massacre of these people underneath. So they kill the architect as well, in a pretty horrific way. They basically get him to design this lock, and then he's the centerpiece of this lock, and there's this kind of mechanism that they break his jaw while he's still alive and place this kind of lock thing in there and seal him in there so he can't move, basically to die. The scenes in this film are pretty horrific, done very well. It's like, kind of, when you read about this stuff in history, when you're at school and studying, and like how these things are depicted in films, it's like brutal the way that these people seen as devil worshippers, it could be nothing. I mean, this like just someone's like, you're a witch, you're a devil worshipper, like these things in the past, and then what is done to them with no repercussions and no kind of law and order. It's horrific what's done. But anyway, so we kind of jump to present day, and there's a new librarian for the church. Yeah. Evan, he befriends Lisa that's there. She's kind of doing restoration work inside the church. So these are our main two. We follow like Evan and Lisa. They stumble across this kind of old parchment, and it's kind of like the blueprints for the church, and they're finding that there's all these hidden kind of catacomb areas and things like that, and they hide it from the bishop that's there. There's like this kind of grumpy bishop sort of thing, and then there's this custodian guy. He's a bit kind of weird, and it's like looking after the church. And his daughter is actually Asia Argento, so she's in this, and like very kind of early role. Kind of, you see like how her character is. It's kind of like, if you think of Leon, I think it's maybe the professional Leon is called in the US. With Jean Rene, he's the assassin, Natalie Portman. So she's this young girl around the same age, and you know they're sexualized in a kind of, it's kind of strange. You wouldn't get it in a film now, I don't think. But like the Natalie Portman, her role really always reminds me of Lotta from the church. Or maybe I saw the church after Leon. I can't remember now. But anyway, the roles are very kind of similar how they are. And it's like slightly sexualized, these two young characters, like really too young. But it's intriguing how it's all put together. But anyway, there's no untowardness between. Evan likes Lotta. She's this young girl and she's interested. The dad's a bit weird, but he's just this weird custodian. So Evan and Lisa, they're trying to kind of, they want to kind of go through to try and find out, like there's this, is it seal of 7 eyes or 5 eyes or something like that, but there's this kind of lock, this stone that unlocks everything, and they want to try and find it, but they're hiding all the stuff within his office, and the bishop is in there hunting around, and he finds this, so he starts studying all this. So yeah, well, they start like hunting around. How's it happen next? I'm losing my train of thought here. But basically, Evan kind of, something happened. I think it's this weird. He finds something anyway. He finds the stone, and like he passes out at some point. It's this weird sack thing, I think. And yeah, he passes out, wakes up, and he's kind of like partially possessed. Oh yeah, he finds it, and he opens it up, and it's like this endless chasm. It's really cool. The whole setting of this film is fantastic. Like inside this huge cathedral-like church, and then underground, all these catacombs. Brilliant setting on this film. Really, really good. So yeah, he kind of gets possessed because there's all these souls and these ghosts that want vengeance. And it actually turns out that they kind of were devil worshippers, because they want to unleash Satan, I guess. Like they're like these troves from hell, this army from hell that they want to release. And Evan has opened it for them, so he gets a bit possessed. And yeah, so he's kind of, the custodian kind of finds him at one point, and he attacks him and stuff like that. So then the custodian gets kind of possessed as well. Anyone that gets attacked kind of gets possessed. You know how these films work. You think of the Demons films. I think this was the one that was originally pitched as Demons 3, but Suave kind of wasn't into that. Although it gets called Demons 3, it's part of the La Casa kind of film series. Suave was like, not really. He's like, no, this is the church. This isn't Demons 3. So yeah, stuff starts going kind of going wrong. And then what happens? Oh yeah, it's like the people in, because there's all these people in the church, and like there's a photo shoot going on, there's like a school trip, there's these teenagers on and stuff like that. But Evan starts to, he's kind of coming in and out of possession, and like Lisa, he's starting to have these kind of premonitions and these flashbacks and things like that of past lives, and his like hallucinations and stuff, and other people are starting to get them. And Lotta is attacked by her dad at one point, kind of sexually assaulted, but it's not really him. He's possessed at this point. And she escapes. She has this kind of way out of the church through it's through these tunnels. Anyway, she has a way out, so she's gone like clubbing and stuff like that. And yeah, they're kind of digging around in the catacombs, and like custodians there, and he kind of, it was in the apartment, I think, and it's like he has this realization, it's like this clarity that breaks the this lock that he's possessed, and he goes to confess his sins to the bishop, that he's possessed, and he goes down and he kills himself with his like jackhammer, and the blood falls on, drips through to the lock. It's like this huge locking mechanism that locks the church again, basically, and everyone inside gets locked in, and it's the only way in or out of the church. So that's pretty cool, because people there's all this shit starts to go down, people start to really hallucinate, and then lives are starting to be lost. The teenage couple in there is actually quite good, because they're trying to escape, and they're finding these tunnels, they're digging down, and they're like, oh, they found this way through. And there's this kind of like angelic light that they see, the woman sees, and she's kind of in awe staring at it. It's actually a metro line, and she gets splattered onto the front of a metro, which is pretty cool. It's pretty fun to see. So yeah, there's all this death and destruction going on, and yeah, Lisa, she gets basically raped by Evan, who's turned into like this demon sort of thing, and yeah, it fully unlocks the gates of hell kind of thing, and it opens up, and they have this mound of bodies, which is, I think, on all of the covers of the movie that I've seen. This mound of kind of this, yeah, I'm not quite sure if it's meant to be a head or something like that, but this is mound of dead bodies, and it just looks pretty cool. Yeah, it looks really like an art piece sort of thing. But yeah, it's all these depths of hell opened, and yeah, shit is going down, shit is going bad, very bad. But then like sorry, I'm moving a bit. Bip, stop, start. So all this stuff is going on. People are dying left, right, and centre. This demon thing is being released and things like that. The bishop's committed suicide and stuff. He's like, these sinners, this world is corrupt, so I'm going to let the gates of hell open and cleanse the world, sort of thing. It's kind of strange from this man of God to let demons cleanse the earth. Interesting. But anyway, they find the locking mechanism within the original architects, the locking mechanism. There's also a self-destruct mechanism in there, so that gets triggered, and basically the church just gets destroyed. It all falls in on itself. Everyone inside dies. So Evan dies and Lisa dies, our main characters, and the only one is like Lotta that has her escape route that she can get in and out of. So that's kind of, yeah, it all finishes with everyone dead basically, and the church is in rubble. And then we kind of fast forward a little bit into not too distant future, It could be like a few months after or something like that. And there's this tour guide, and we're walking around and showing the rubble of this church and talking about it. And Lotta sees, she goes to like pay her respects to like this shrine almost that this has become, and she's laying flowers down. I think anyway, and she sees the seal. Was it the 5 eyes or 7 eyes or something like that? And she hears the horses. Ah, yeah, the horses keep coming throughout the movie. They're like the first sign that something is coming. So you have these horse noises. It keeps popping up throughout the film. Different people hear the noises, and it's kind of like a very vivid hallucination that like, there's something around. And she's kind of smiling. You get, she's like, it's kind of like, does she know what this means, or is a mild possession happening with her or something? I'm not quite sure how that is, but then our movie finishes, and there we go. Sorry, it's a bit disjointed, a bit clunky, stop-start. Apologise for that, but this is a fantastic movie. I love The Church. I think it's superb. Like I said, the more I watch it, the more detail that you pick up. I could have talked about this a long time, and there's stuff that as soon as I finish the video, I'm going to be annoyed that I haven't talked about. I see the time is racking up already, but this really is a film that you can talk about a lot. There's so much going on, and yeah, it's really well put together. It's kind of one of the high point Italian horror films of the 80s for me. Definitely one of my favorites. So there we go. There's the end of the review. My kind of glowing endorsement of the movie. If you've not seen it, I'm sure it might. Everyone's heard of The Church, but I don't think everyone's seen it. It's one of those that everyone's heard of. It has, for some reason, some negativity towards it. Not a lot, but I don't think it gets the glowing praise that it deserves. I really think it's a great film. And if you've not seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. Whether it is through the Shameless release or the Scorpion release or the Blue Underground release, I think I'd recommend just however you get the movie, get your hands on it and check it out, because it really is a fantastic movie. Not, well, it's part of the La Casa Demons, so it's clearly nothing to do with Demons, like Demons 3. It's not. It doesn't follow on from the second two, which are brilliant movies on their own. But this in its own right is a fantastic movie. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and catch you next week. Okay, bye-bye.